What's up, folks? Sultan here from Integraudio, and today I'm really excited. Now, I've been a big fan of the Fabfilter plugin series ever since I started my journey as a music producer. I've used the Pro C, the Pro R, and of course, the Pro Q. Not only are these plugins super easy to use, but they're extremely intuitive and responsive, making mixing and mastering a breeze. But the Fabfilter Pro Q4 really takes things to the next level. You've got all the great features from the previous models and a few extra really important and essential tools at your disposal. But before we get into it, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and check out the link in the description if you want to try the plugin. Let's get into it now. Okay, so now let's have a look at the interface that we have, and we'll also see some of the new features. So I'm going to switch to full screen mode here. And first off, you'll notice that as I hover the mouse over these bands, you'd see some previews. So preview shapes that I can create when I click here. This is quite nice. At the bottom, you have your control strip. Starting from the left, you have a MIDI learn button. This is for when you have an external MIDI controller attached and you want to EQ it. You can use it through this option. Here are the controls for that. Next to this, you have your processing mode selector. So you can select between zero latency, natural phase, and linear phase. We'll come to this in a second. You've also got your pre-post analyzer, so you can see the spectrum pre and post equalizing, which is a useful feature. And this is something new. So you also have now a character button. So once you press this, you can choose between subtle and warm settings. So subtle, if you select this, you will get more of a vintage style saturation. While if you select warm, it will be more like tube style saturation. That's something that you can experiment with. You also have this really cool pen tool right here, which helps you sketch your EQ graphs with hardly any effort. Check this out. So you can just drag it in your mouse and draw an EQ graph. If you don't like it, you can backtrack and it will undo the things that you've done so far. So you can go all the way back and then you can come back up. And so this gives you a nice base to work with. So you've got these points now that you can move around and tweak the settings the way you like it. Right, and you'll also see this little box here that tells you all you need to know about this setting that you've done here. So this is really cool. So now let's go to this section over here. So what Fabfilter has done is given us this little section here that will show you all the EQs that have been applied to the different tracks that you have in your session, which is quite extraordinary. You can see them all at a glance and you can zoom there to further see in detail where all these points are, and then you can move them around right here and make changes, which is quite cool. You even get this sort of like a cascade button that you can press and cycle through them, which is really cool. But this is something really exciting. And then on the side, you have this pane that you can click and you can also manually select the tracks that you want to see. I don't have a lot of tracks here, but it's, for instance, you have like 20-30 tracks on the side. You can easily scroll through and just click it and you'll see the tracks over here. Now let's look at some of these controls that you get when you press each of these points. So for instance, the standard controls, frequency, gain, and Q adjustments are here. The good thing about this section is that you can now not only take one of these variable slopes, you can also
drag this selector right here and even
Select within the increments that you see here. So that's something really good. You can make your choice right down to the decimal point. Another addition to this version of the Pro Q is the threshold, which is this vertical bar here, but you also get an attack and release for each of the bats that you set here, which is an additional feature and very useful to have. So now I think it's time to put the Fabfilter Pro Q4 through its paces. I put this track lined up. It's a short acoustic track, and let's first listen to it without any EQ, and then we will take it from there. So here it is. Right, so I was going to use the sketch feature and draw a graph or a curve rather for myself. But when I experimented with some of these presets here, they're so good and just ready to go. So I picked the AC guitar mud removal one, and this is how it sounds when I activate the EQ. This is without the EQ. And this is with the EQ engaged. I kind of want to see what happens when I mess with the character modes here. So if I pick the subtle one, and I'm kind of inclined towards boosting the highs a little bit, because that's usually my preferred setting for acoustic guitars. 2.5 dB might be a bit of a stretch, maybe something slightly lower would work. Again, this is with the EQ, and now let's hear it without the EQ. So this is with the EQ turned off. So now after the intro, when the drums come in, I want the intro riff that continues on to be a little more happening, a little more excited. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to loop this section and solo it. Have a listen. So this preset is called AC Guitar Control and Excitement. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Some excitement as soon as the drums come in. So I'm going to turn it on. So now with the rest of the track. I think it flows nicely with the rest of the track now. This is with the EQ off. And this is turning it on now. So there's this part in the MIDI where you'll hear the acoustic guitars that are being panned left and right. This is when the drums come in. So I've looped this section and I'm going to solo it, and we're going to hear it first without the EQ and then we apply the EQ. So this is how it sounds. This is with basic EQing turned on. Again, I'm going to go to my preferred setting for acoustic guitars. I like the brightness. Now on to the bass section. So I think one thing worth mentioning here is you get a dynamic EQ, which affects the overall frequency band, and any signal that crosses the threshold level can be adjusted. You also get the spectral dynamic feature, in which you get a more targeted approach, and only those frequencies that cross over the threshold level are affected. So on to the drums now. So maybe something more punchy would do the trick. I've set up this EQ. You see I've activated the dynamic EQ on 3 of these sections. And I'm going to activate the EQ shortly so you can hear the difference. So there's a clear difference. More punch in the snare. So no harsh transients. So with the EQ on, now the entire track drums. After years of sticking together, I think I'm going to say goodbye to the Pro Q2 and Pro Q3 because I'm totally sold on the Q4. I love how responsive it is. I love how it takes care of the subtle details. You've got a truckload of options. You've got the character mode, the sketch feature, and just how the whole interface is laid out is really, really user-friendly. And I'm definitely going to purchase this as soon as I can. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this plugin. And if you want to try it out for yourself, click the link in the description. This is Sultan signing off. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification. See ya!